welcome. This is a quiz or test review for Chapter 7 test. The first question you're asked to do is graph. Which graph represents the following system of equations? You can just go right to start slope form. This one begins at 3 and has a slope of 3 over 1. Okay, so which one begins at 3? This one begins at 3. This one does not. This one begins at 3. And this one begins at 3. And I can see the answer right away should be D, but let's keep going with it. And then I want to go down 3 over 1 when it begins at, I'm sorry, up 3 over 1, not down 3 over 1. And if I go up 3 here, 1, 2, 3 over 1, that works there, or down 3 over 1, that works. So this looks like that graph. And then I got negative x minus 3. So y equals negative x minus 3. This one starts at negative 3 and has a negative slope, which is down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. So this would be the proper answer to this question. The other questions here would have different systems. So let's just look at one. This system here would be, this one starts at negative 3. So y equals, it starts at negative 3, it begins at negative 3, and has a slope of up 1, 2, 3 over 1, which would be 3x minus 3. So that is close, but it's not the same answer. And then this question here would be y equals 3x plus 3. So that's this system. This system over here, they both start at negative 3. So y equals 1. They both start at negative 3. We got to figure out what the slopes are for them. Well, this slope here is up 1, 2, 3 over 1. So that's 3. And this slope here is down 1 over 1. So that's negative. Okay. And then the last one here, we have a combination of the two. This one has a positive x slope. So it starts at negative 3. Excuse me. Okay, excuse me, I just sneezed there. So it starts at negative 3 and goes up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So that should be 1 over 1 or 1. So instead of putting a 1 there, we just put x minus 3. And of course, the other one is still going to be y equals, it's going downhill. Oops, I'm sorry. This should be a negative 3x plus 3. It's going downhill, negative 3x plus 3. So that's how you would do that one, and the answer is y over here, y equals positive 3x plus 3, and that matches the original question. So the answer is D. Okay, looking at number 2. Number 2 is a similar question. This one starts at negative 2. So which graph starts at negative 2? Well, this one does. This one does not. This one does. So our choices are here. And the slope is 4. So m is 4, which equals 4 over 1. So the rise over run is 4. And this one does rise over run 4. And so does this one. So now we're just interested in the shading. So we have to test 0, 0. For this one, 0, 0 says it's true. This one over here, 0, comma 0 is false because it shades away from 0. And this one shades towards 0, so it's true. So let's test 0, 0. So I take my original equation and I put in a 0 for y, put in a 0 for x. This is going to go to 0, minus 2. And it says 0 less than minus 2. That's false. So our answer is going to be choice C. Okay, moving on to the next question, which is number 3. I'm sorry, number 5. Or sorry, number 3. Sorry, back one. It says write the solution of the system of equations. Well, this one here I can solve by substitution. I can take 3x plus 7 and put it into this y value. So I'm going to get 3x plus 7 equals x minus 9. Okay, and then I would solve this by bringing the x over by subtraction. That's going to get me 2x plus 7 equals negative 9. I'm going to bring the 7 over by subtraction, and I'm going to get 2x equals negative 16, x equals negative 8. And to get the other answer, I would plug in my value for my x, and I could do that right up here. I could put in my negative 8 up here, but let's just do a quick check here. So y equals 3 times negative 8 plus 7, which would be negative 24 plus 7, which would equal negative 17, it looks like. And, okay. And let's check the other one. Check the other one right here. Y equals, I'm going to check it over here. Sorry. So y equals x minus 9. Y equals negative 8 minus 9, which is also negative 17. Checked. And my answer is negative 8, negative 17. The next question is also a substitution question, and you will have to do substitution on the test. 2x plus 3, and we're going to set it equal to 3x plus 1. Bring the 2x over by subtraction. Okay, so we're doing a new problem here. This problem is done. So we're doing a new problem here. And at the same time, as bringing the 2 this way, I'm going to bring the 1 this way by subtraction. And then I can just go through, and this is going to be 0. This turns into 2. This turns into x, and this turns into 0. So x equals 2. If x equals 2, y equals 2 times 2 plus 3. Well, that's going to be 4 plus 3, which is 7. And y equals 3 times 2 plus 1, which equals 6 plus 1, which is also 7. It checks, and I know my answer is 2, 7. Moving on to number 5. Okay, number 5 says solve by elimination. Okay, it's all set up for you right away. The y's will eliminate when you add together. Make sure you add this correctly. 3x plus 3x is 6x. 21 plus negative 9 plus 21 is 12. X equals 2 because I divide by 6. Again, if you need to show that, that's fine. Divide by 6, divide by 6. X equals 2. Now I'm going to find out what my y value is. I'm going to take the first question, 3. Now my x value is 2 plus 3y equals negative 9. And then my other one is going to be the same thing. 3 times 2 minus 3y equals 21. And I got to figure out what my y value is. Well, I do the math on this, and I get 6 plus 3y equals 9. And I get 6 minus 3y equals 21. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, negative 9. Negative 9. Okay, subtract 6 from both sides. I get 3y equals negative 15. Looks like y equals negative 5. Let's see if it works the same over here. Subtract 6. I get negative 3y equals 15. Y equals negative 5. It checks. And my answer is 2, negative 5 if I were to graph it. You should be able to do this whole problem on your own without looking at the video. And once you can do that, then move on to the next one. Okay, number 6 is an elimination question. However, it doesn't match up very well. So there's 2 ways to do this. I can adjust the x to make it a negative 3, and then I'd have to change this to a negative 3 times 2, which is, I'm sorry, negative 3 times 2, which is negative 6. And I'd have to do negative 3 times negative 6, which is positive 18. So I could do that. And now I can just add together. So I have negative 3x minus 6y equals 18. And I have 3x plus 8y equals negative 20. And I combine the 2. The 3's cancel. The x's cancel. The y's are reduced to 2y. And the 20 turns into a negative 2. And y equals negative 1. Well, let's see if that checks. I'm going to go back to my original equation. Not the one I adjusted, the original. I'm going to take x plus 2 times negative 1. Does that equal negative 6? Or, sorry, a negative 6 and figure out what x is. And I'm going to take 3x plus 8 times negative 1 and see if that equals, or what that equals to make negative 20. I'm going to do the math on both. X minus 2 equals 6. Add 2. X equals 8. 3x minus 8 equals negative 20. 20, sorry. Add 8. Add 8. Doesn't look like it's going to work out. Something's wrong. I made a mistake. Oh, that's why. It should be negative 6. So, okay, let me just keep going with this. I made a mistake. So it's not going to check. So I made a mistake. So I got 3x equals negative 12. X equals negative 4. Okay, these don't check. So I made a mistake somewhere, and my mistake is right here. I didn't bring my negative down. So when I do this, I get x equals negative 4. And now it checks. So that's what your check is for. See if you got the right answer. I got negative 4 comma negative 1, and that's my answer. Moving on to 7. This is like the one we did in class. I will go through it again just in case you did not follow along or I went too fast. We're going to an ice skating rink. There's admission and skate rental fee. John, he did paid for admission for so many kids, and he did skates for so many kids. Well, he said fee for his 6 nephews, that's admission, so 6A, and 5 pairs of skates plus 5 skates. That turned out to be $32. And then Juanita, I think that was his name, right? Juanita fee was 7 grandchildren. 7 people got in, and they rented 5 pairs of skates also, and that was $35.25. Now, the numbers aren't going to be the same on the test tomorrow, just to tell you. So I'm going to multiply this row by a negative. Then I can combine to get the 5s to cancel out, and I got 6a plus 7. Negative 6a plus 7a is a, and 32. Negative 32 plus 35 is $33.25, or $3.25. Okay, so that's how much admission is. How much are the skates? Well, you take the first equation, 6 times 325, plus the 5K equals 32. And you take the other equation, 7 times that 325, plus the 5K, and that should equal 35.25. And when you do the math on this, you get the skate rental K equals $250. And of course, you have to write your answer out in a complete sentence, and you have to check your work. Actually, your check would be right here. These should both come out to be the same. And then write out your answer in a complete sentence to get the full credit for the question. The last 2 questions. Number 8 is a break-even question. In order to break even, so Mike and Kim invest $14,000 in equipment to print yearbooks. So they invest. They spend money. They spend money to make money. $14,000 to print a yearbook. And then a break-even question, that what you invest or spend has to equal what you earn or make on the profit. So each yearbook costs. The cost is a spending. $7. So that's $7 to print a yearbook. What's Y is the yearbook. How many yearbooks? Okay. And when you sell the yearbook, it's going to equal $35 per yearbook you're going to get. So on one side you have your what you spend. What you spend. And that's equal to what you earn. And in this case, I'm going to subtract 7y because you're going to lose $7 on every yearbook. Or not lose, you got to pay back your money. and that's going to give us 28y. And when we do the division, it comes out to be 500 yearbooks. 500 equals y, and you're going to check it by putting the 500 in. So 1400, or 14,000 plus 7 times 500 equals 35 times 500, and that will check out for you when you do that math, and you write your answer in a complete sentence, and you get full credit for the question. The final question is a graphing a system of linear inequalities. It is in y equals mx plus b form. Please beware of the sign. This is going to be a solid line. It's solid because of that. It's a negative slope, so it's going downhill because of that. That's that one there. The other line is going to be a solid also, but it's going to have a positive slope to it. Okay, the first line starts at, because it's in y equals mx plus b form, or we're going to graph that form of it, we could start at -1, begin at -1, and do a slope of -1. So negative x implies m is -1, which is downhill corner to corner. Downhill, corner to corner. The line is solid, so I'm going to grab a solid line, and I'm going to graph it, corner to corner, solid line. Okay, the next thing is let's check the shading on it. 0, 0 is off the line. So on this question here, the y is less than, I'm thinking it's going to be down here, y is less than -x minus 1. If I put 0, 0 in, I get 0 is less than -1. That's false. So I'm going to shade this way for this question. I don't advise shading right away, but that's okay if you did. I'm using two different colors so that I can do that a little bit better here, or easier here. So I'm going to do the next one, and I'm going to start at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to do a slope of 2. M is 2, so that's 2 over 1. That's up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, down 2 over back 1, down 2 back 1. Okay, we can see that our line, which is going to be a solid line, runs right about there. There's a straight edge here. It's going to run right about there. Okay, it's off a little because of the board. I apologize for that. Okay, and then which way is our shading? We're going to test. Well, it looks like it's greater than, so chances are it's going to be up here. So y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 4. Well, let's see if it is. Let's put the 0 in. Is 0 greater than or equal to 4? That is a false statement. I will shade away from 0. So I'm going to shade up. And where the lines crisscross is going to be my solution. We're going to mark the solution with an S. Okay, and then you're going to make sure you have your x and y axes labeled. Make sure your equations are labeled. Your origins labeled. 1, 2, a couple numbers going up, and then a couple numbers going backwards. Again, it's a little harder to draw on this than on your note, on your paper, so that should look like that. If you choose to, you don't have to have this shading here. That marks it a little clearer where the shading goes, or where the two cross. It's in this area right here. Okay? Again, be careful. Remember that this is dotted, and this is solid. And a -x is a downhill slope, and a positive in front of the x is an uphill slope. So I hope you do well. God bless you. Make sure you can do these questions without help. I suggest turning off the video or pausing it and going back and seeing if you got the answer right. So have a good night, and God bless you.